Good afternoon and welcome to our third family workshop. My name is Barb Campbell and I serve as the Director of Family Engagement here at Yes Prep. And I'm really excited to be with you tonight and have several individuals who are much better at technology than I am to share some information with you regarding technology tools that can help your child's learning. So in tonight's family workshop, we are going to cover Skyward, Microsoft Teams, and I have a little bit of a reminder for you related to phishing scams and some emails that you may have received yesterday. As you know, our mission at Yes Prep is to increase the number of students from underserved communities who graduate from college prepared to lead. And our vision is to ensure that every child in Houston will have equitable access to a public school that delivers an excellent college-ready education. COVID has certainly taught us and reminded us of the importance of partnering with our parents in the education of all children. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll pick up a few tips tonight. I'm going to pass it over to Kamedra Jefferson, who is the Director of Instructional Technology, and we're all going to learn some amazing things together.
Thank you, Barb. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamedra Jefferson. I'm the Director of Instructional Technology. I am going to walk you through some really great tools that we currently use with our students for online and in-person learning. And I am going to walk you through using a tool called Nearpod. So right now, you'll probably see a screen. There's a link to the Nearpod in the chat. So if you don't have access, please access that now. And that will allow you to enter the room. Once you enter the room, it will alert me and it'll tell me how many students are currently in the Nearpod so that I can begin, or how many participants are in the Nearpod so that we can begin. Well, it looks like we have some folks joining, and it's really exciting. So we're going to go through that Nearpod and walk you through some really great tools. So, technology tools at Yes Prep Public Schools. We are going to go over first, what are instructional technology tools? If that is something that you may not know exactly what that might be. I know it's something that's used quite a bit, but we may not know what it is or what exactly they do. And then we're going to move into what tools we specifically use at Yes Prep. And then also major highlights of each tool, as well as some resources and opportunities for you to ask me some questions at the end of the presentation. So instructional technology tools, these are essentially technology tools used in the classroom for either online or in-person learning to support the teacher in delivering instruction and to support student learning. And this ranges from traditional to high-tech options. So this could include something as simple as a laptop in the classroom all the way to a software tool, such as the one that I'm showing you right now, to help engage the students and to help the teacher teach. So the top three tools that we really leverage highly for Yes Prep online and in-person learning is Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Onenote, and Microsoft Forms. And essentially these, not that these are the sole tools that we use, but these are the main tools that are embedded in our Yes Prep curriculum and that we leverage heavily to ensure that our students are meeting academic progress. And so we are going to have a bit of an activity because we don't have anyone in the actual Nearpod at the moment. We're going to skip through it, but essentially thinking about it, if you're watching right now, just something to pose to yourself. But essentially this would be a question that you could see in a classroom, right? And so this is just trying to get an idea of what pulse check that we have on your knowledge of Teams. And so, a scale of 1 to 5, just start thinking about how familiar are you with these tools. Some of you out there may be super familiar. Some of you may not quite know exactly what these tools are, but may have seen your students using them. There's probably somewhere in between, and then there's probably some that's just like, I don't know, I may not have any of this knowledge, and that's okay, and that is why we're here. So again, as I mentioned before, we are a Microsoft organization, so we use Microsoft Suite. Essentially, what that also means for your student is they all have Microsoft 365 accounts. And these accounts can be accessed either through office.com, or they can use them on their desktop via the desktop app that way as well. So there's multiple ways for them to access their accounts. They can also use other devices as well. However, we do highly encourage that they do access these tools via their student laptop, because this is going to ensure that they are optimal and, of course, accessing it within our environment, which is really key. So Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a learning management system that we use at YesPrep. And essentially what a learning management system is, it's a fancy phrase, right, for a space where learning occurs in a virtual setting. So Microsoft Teams is where we host, or where teachers host, live synchronous online learning lessons. It's a space where students can engage and collaborate with each other. They can ask a teacher for help. It's also where they access and turn in all of their assignments. And also, they can also access handouts and other materials. So it's kind of a one-stop shop hub for them to really engage in learning, whether they are physically at the campus or whether they are at home. So you might be wondering, well, what can I do to help my student right now with Microsoft Teams? Well, here are some suggestions, but you definitely could start by just asking your student questions. You can show them, ask them to show you what their teams look like. So in Microsoft Teams, there are a list of courses that the student has access to, essentially their class teams. And you might ask to just say, hey, can I, take a look at what's happening in your class teams, or can you show me what that looks like? Another might be, show me a video recording from your favorite class. So all of our live synchronous lessons by the teacher are recorded and then uploaded to a space called Stream, where the student can then access that video at any time if they've missed it, or if they, just need to go back and maybe review information. So really helpful to maybe say, hey, can I check out one of your live videos? Another would be to maybe, can I see the last assignment that you turned in? Let me see if it was turned in on time. So the great part about having Teams is it allows you to also see if an assignment has been turned in late, or if an assignment was turned in by the due date or early or prior to that. So that's another way to check in with your students. Also, you can also say, hey, you know what? I saw the first assignment. Can we make sure that we've seen all of the assignments? Have you turned in everything for the week? So remember, our students are juggling quite a bit of things right now all at once. And so the assignments tab in Teams is a perfect place to take a look and really get to see what the students may have missing, what kind of gaps there might be, or what kind of additional support they might need. And then that moves us into Microsoft OneNote. So Microsoft OneNote is a digital notebook that saves and syncs student work. So a lot of moving parts to OneNote, but what is so great about OneNote is that it can be both leveraged within Microsoft Teams as a tab in the class team, or the student or teacher can actually access Microsoft OneNote via the web, or they can also use it as an app on their desktop. There's a variety of reasons how it's used. So you might have some students using it via the web. You might have some using it in Teams. You might have some just using the desktop app. There's no right or wrong way. Sometimes this depends on functionality. Sometimes it depends on what part of OneNote is working the best. So no need to worry there if your student may be using it one way and not another way. It also depends on how the teacher uses it the most too. So the way that this works is in the digital space. There are three major components. It's called the collaboration space, the content library, and then the actual student notebook. When you get to the actual student notebooks, that is the actual student facing notebook that only the teacher is able to see and the student is able to see. So it's something very sacred that is shared between the student and the teacher. And those sections can range from quizzes, it can range from handouts, notes that the student can take and annotate or highlight, or It can also be various sections. The teacher has they have the power to add as many sections as they like that are applicable to their course. So you might see some courses where there's more sections than others. It really just depends on what the teacher or what the course design is about. And so this, what I really like about OneNote is that it's also an opportunity for teachers to see what's happening in terms of learning live, right in their kind of face. You can actually see students drawing or see students writing, see students highlighting in real time. So that is another great tool that we use heavily at YesPrep. So again, how can you support your student with Microsoft OneNote? Well, first that you can do is, again, check in by asking questions, right? And there's really no wrong question to ask. But you might say, hey, can I take a look at your notebook? Can I see what sections look like for this particular course? May I, check out what the handouts look like in your OneNote? Again, this is just some suggestions. Of course, please do not, think this is the only way to check in, but these are suggestions to get you started. And then finally, we have Microsoft Forms. So Microsoft Forms is another Microsoft tool that we use heavily both for students and staff at YesPrep. And it can be used to survey, provide quizzes or polls. The way that we use them in an academic setting or for online and in-person learning is more of an assessment where we either use them through an exit ticket or quizzes, or it can even be an exam. Microsoft Forms has the ability to for you to also, there's grading. You can also offer feedback to a student within the form once it's been turned in. So there are different ways to assess students with Microsoft Forms. And again, how can you support them with Microsoft Forms? Well, these are not quite as student facing or as student interactive in terms of, Microsoft Teams and Microsoft OneNote. But you could ask to see the latest exit ticket. A lot of our exit tickets are through Microsoft Forms. And so this is something that can be accessed in the student's team. And you can, ask to see their last assessment in Microsoft Forms, or you might say, hey, can I see what your exit ticket looked like today? And it most likely will be in a form. So these are also just some suggestions to get you started. So we have a collaboration space here, and this would be a space normally where I would ask you to, drop in, your response to this question. So this would kind of fill up in real time, but we're going to skip through the collaboration board. And just move into questions. So if there are any questions that you have, you can let me know. Again, my name is Kamedra Jefferson, Director of Instructional Technology, and I am always here as a resource for all questions related to instructional technology and technology tools that we use at YesPrep. So please feel free if you have any questions. Also, there will be a video that will be shared with you that has all of this information as well, including live demos about each tool from the student side, so that you can actually see exactly what I was talking about, and you have access to that. And additionally, if you have any more information in the chat, there is a Padlet, a teacher resource for you, where you can access this Padlet and go through the resources, where it has all things for Microsoft, all things Microsoft Education. Also, there will be quick start guides. There's the ability to impersonate how a student may go through one of the tools. And so that information is in there. So if you're very curious and you really want to walk through the experience, there are live virtual tours for teams. And yeah, it's been a pleasure, having an opportunity to share this information with you, and I'm happy to be a resource, and thank you so much.
Hey, Kamedra, thank you so much for taking some time out. I know I learned a few things. Can you go back on a couple of slides? I know that we were passing through with the collaboration board, because
Sure.
I just want to understand a little bit more what's possible when you are using that tool with Nearpod and the collaboration space.
Oh, sure. The collaboration board is one of many one of many activities that you can embed in a Nearpod slide deck where you have live synchronous lessons. So this is actually a relatively new tool. It hasn't been, it's barely being rolled out right now, but I did want to give everyone a little bit of a taste. But essentially what it is it's exactly that. It's an opportunity for all students or participants, whatever the context is, for them to share all of their thoughts. So if I were to, respond to this question, I can help by, I could then hit respond, but I also, if I wanted to personalize it, I could do that as well by uploading images. So if I wanted to put in something, make it fun, again, something that it can keep it really engaging, I could add that there and then hit post. And what that would be, what that would do is then also allow all of the participants that are in the Nearpod be able to see all of the posts at once. And then once the posts are there, you can also double down on what someone is saying. So if it's a particular topic or something that you really like, you could love it. And then kind of see what the trends are that are happening in that class. And then you can even share it, which is really neat. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with the board. If you wanted to, you could add a timer or kind of look at the trends on what was liked versus what wasn't. But yeah, this is a collaboration board within Nearpod.
Nice. And so as a parent, would I expect to be able to see my student using that this year, or is this something for next year?
So you could Nearpod is kind of in its, again, early adoption stages. So we are rolling it out this semester. But you may, there might be some teachers that may be using it more than others. So as we continue to define the vision around how we want to leverage Nearpod, most specifically as we move, from the training side of things for our teachers and for our staff, there will be more clear guidelines on how this will be used and leveraged directly, more specifically starting the upcoming year for 21-22.
Awesome. And I have one last question, which is on your last slide with the Padlet. Sure. So impressed with the resources that you've put together, and I can't wait to share the demo and videos and post that to the website. It'll go out with Family Comms this week. But I was just fascinated that I could take the picture of the QR code and open that Padlet. So I was wondering if you were able to show what that looks like so we can capture that here.
Sure. Do you want me to show you what the Padlet looks like once you're there?
Yes, if you don't mind just opening it to get a sense of what they'll see.
Let me pull that up for you all just a second. And that here.
See, I'm giving you all the hard tech stuff.
Oh, no, not a problem. I mean, it totally makes sense. Okay, so here is the YesPrep Resource IT Tools Padlet. And as you can see on the left side, there are going to be a ton of resources for parents here related to any questions that you might have about Microsoft for Education. So as you can see here, there's the virtual learning quick guide. There is anything that you need to know about online learning and how those tools intertwine. And then here are the more specific resources related to each tool for Teams, for OneNote, and for Forms.
Impressive. And I think I see there's some Spanish translation on there as well.
Yes, there is. I tried my best. Yes.
Well, Kamedra, I cannot thank you enough for your time. I know that you've been involved in professional development all day and were able to sneak away to spend a few minutes with us. So thank you so very much for your expertise and helping us to better understand all of those tools. Have a good night, Kamedra. And I'd like to introduce now to walk us through a little bit more with Skyward. We have Andrea Kamengan, who will join us now.
Hi, let me go ahead and open my screen here. Hi, so to introduce myself, I'm Andre Kavingan. I'm one of the SIS, which is Student Information Systems Specialist on the team. And we're a small team of 5, but we managed to get things done right. So I hope, I just want to show you here for our Skyward application. We manage this application that houses all student records. So for things like enrollment, grading, attendance, scheduling, just to name a few things, these are all housed within this Skyward student information system. So today I'm going to be going over just a few quick tips on the family access side and how to navigate your child's performance, their academic performance. So going into the Skyward login page here, this will show you where to type in your username, your password, and you can sign in. But there's also a link here if you forgot one of those usernames or password, it'll direct you to a link to send you an email to reset everything. We do have a quick YouTube video here, kind of looks like this with the how to log in and check grades page. It's a quick 2-minute video, but it does show you how to log in on the desktop and also how to download the app on your iPhone or Android if you have one and check grades through there. So everything that I'm showing you tonight, it's going to be accessible through either desktop and also applicable to your phone app also. So once I log in, and I'm using a test parent here, this is what the dashboard will look like. So if you have more than one student that attends Yes Prep, you'll see an overview of viewing all your students here, and you can view all their tiles as an overview whole, or you can view them individually. You'll also see a few icons here as well. So it'll just be a little shortcut at what have you. So you can view all or view your individual students. Now in the dashboard view, you'll notice that there's like a little red My Messages here. So it looks like there's about 18 unread messages. But if I click here, this will direct you to the messages you receive from either the district or your specific campus or maybe teachers. But this is all set up you can use the settings to set this up to receive what you want to receive via messages or receive through your email. Now, if you look, let's see if we click this message here. And if I drag this double arrow, you can kind of see the message response here of what you just received. So it's kind of a great tool to use like as a double screen if you're using a larger screen, or you can go ahead and click into the message and view your messages through here. Now going back to the message dashboard here, I can go ahead and set up my settings on what I want to receive. I know our inboxes get pretty full of things, and you can see here that like if you want to view some messages and if you don't need any copies sent to your email, you have the ability to unsubscribe here by just unclicking or subscribe to the ones that you want to see. So you'll notice that there's different modules of what you can select or deselect. There's attendance, enrollment. If I scroll down a little further, you'll notice that there is a gradebook version here. So you have the opportunity also to get notifications for your students' assignment grades, perhaps. So let's say you want to see or you want to receive any assignment score notifications they receive that's lower than a 70. So I could set this threshold to at least 70, and I would want to select send me low assignment score notifications so I can get that notification here on my messages. And also I can set this send a copy to my email. So it could send me that copy to my email and send me a message just to notify me that one of my kids scored a low assignment score. You can also do this with the high score notifications as well, but you have the opportunity to play around with these settings here and to see what you want to receive or not receive at all. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard and I'll press home here. And the dashboard tiles that we see here are also available here on this menu. So if I click on this green box with the 3 lines, you'll notice that there are different modules that show exactly what the tiles show here. So looking at one of my students, I'm going to go over the student profile first. So if I click on the student profile, this is where the student information lives. So you'll see your student ID number, the grade level they're in, birth date, email address, the school they're attending here. So the student goes to Southeast. And then you'll notice your family information and emergency contacts. So here, since I'm Jenny Doe under this training, I have the ability to edit my phone number or my email address if I have any adjustments that I need to update. You have that ability here and you can save, and it should update on our on the campus site as well. And you're able to see the other families that are attached to the student. So this Thomas Doe could be the father here. The emergency contacts who are listed here. You'll notice that your phone number and your email will be listed as well. All right. And then once you go back to the dashboard here, we can go through the grading tile next. So here I can click on the grading tile. And this shows me all the student grade information here. So currently this PR3, which is Progress Report 3, is highlighted because we're in the current marking period. So currently the Q2 report cards had just come out, so we're currently in this Progress Report timeline right now. So this is why it's highlighted. You have the ability to filter the current classes, or you can view your all classes here. But for this trading purposes, I'll go back to current classes so it's not as drastic looking here on the screen. All right. So if I go ahead into this class, Principles of Info Technology, I can actually click on the grades underlined here. And this will show you live time scores of current assignments that have been already graded. You also have the ability to see past marking periods. So if I go to Q2, you'll notice that I can see all the past scores. And then I can also see the current assignment information here. So the current assignment's missing, I'm sorry. So if I click on here, I do have the ability to see what specific assignment is missing from this, for one of my students. And then you'll notice that the current assignment or current missing assignment column is listed here. So you'll see that notification of number one of the assignments missing. You also have the opportunity to select the GPA tabs and honor roll tabs. So if your student made honor roll, you can see that they've listed it here. And then on the GPA, you have it listed for per quarter. So you'll see the GPA listed once Q3 has been completed and calculated here. All right. The next tile I want to go through is the portfolio. And this really is the place where the attachments are housed for your child's report card or progress report. So for this instance, if I wanted to select the most current or the latest progress report that appears here, you'll notice that this e-signature is required. So if you agree, it'll sign it for you. And then it'll allow you to download the quarter report card or progress. And these all download to a PDF file, so this is also available as PDF on your phone as well. The next, second to last tile here I want to go through is the assignments tile. And we have showing upcoming assignments. So currently there's no upcoming assignments at the moment since Q3 really just started, but I can look at any missing assignments here, and I can look at the past assignments that have been linked to my student. And you can view them in all year, or you can also filter by the current term. So if I were to do current term, it'll show me just for this timeline. Now, the last tile I do want to go over real quick is the academic history for my student. And you'll notice that the academic history since 2019, since the student has joined Yes Prep, is all listed here. So it looks like there's 2 complete school years that you can look through in case you have any questions or are trying to figure out how they did in the classes that that they have taken in the past. All right, and now I think that should be it. And if there are any questions, definitely please reach out. And you can also reach out to your campus if there are any questions regarding family access or even student access.
Thank you, Andrea. I do actually have a question. Can you go back on the screen with the current grades where it has the blue column highlighted?
Sure. And grading.
So I think this is something in talking to several parents that I know I'm bad at too as a parent myself, just understanding that that grade that's showing there is their current grade. So there's still time. It's like Q3 is in progress right now. So that's an actual live real-time grade in that class as of today, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes. So any assignments that have been scored as of today will automatically calculate here. So anytime you log into your grading tile, see this blue column, that's the most updated. That's what the live time update is for your student.
Got it. So that way a parent could do something about it, could ask their child what's going on with this grade, or be able to take some action to intervene before it's too late. I often feel when the report card comes home, it's like an autopsy. It's a done deal. And so although I appreciate getting the document, I would much rather have the updated information. So that is super, super helpful. Any other, and also when did grades just get published as far as Q2?
Yeah, it just got published on the 14th of January. Or I'm sorry, the quarter ended on the 14th of January. I believe it got published on the 29th. So you should see on your portfolio the latest Q2 grades as of the 29th.
Got it. And is there, when you were talking about the notifications and settings, as many parents are very busy, is there a way to set just a reminder, like a weekly reminder to check grades that draws a parent in to be able to look on a regular, like every Friday morning at 8 o'clock, I should check my child's grades?
Yeah, let's see. We can definitely check to see if we can send reminders out for parents, but I know we do send reminders, or at least just messages regarding progress reports and report cards, right? Once they're published and available too. So yeah, we can definitely check to see if that is an available feature for us to send out to just notify parents and just a reminder to check the gradebook. But you do have that ability to set those high or low score notifications too, if you have any concerns regarding or missing assignments as well. regarding missing assignments or any assignments in general.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly helpful to set those, and it does again tell you or notify you if it's below a certain level for that current grade, right?
Yes, correct.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is super, super helpful. And to clarify something too, because I sometimes struggle a little with technology. The Skyward is the name of our student information system, which is like a data warehouse. It's where all the hub lives. It's all the things, they live here, right?
Yes.
It's the source of truth. And so to also then explain for the push that we've been making with the family portal, the elementary schools are not using the family portal, and the Spring Branch partnership schools, they have a different Skyward hub, so they're not connected to us. However, the family portal is pulling the exact same information from here and pulling it into this, I never know the right terms, in the website and the app that's available, and then also has the communication tool. So a parent could, in their preferred language, say, oh gosh, I just noticed, my child has a 60 in your class and there's 2 weeks left. Can you please let me know what we can do to work on this? So just to kind of clarify, the Skyward is the student information system data hub. The family portal is tied to that and pulls the information into one location with a simultaneous translation. And last but not least, as far as Skyward goes, we also do several surveys, right, that come through Skyward, and emails and things go out or pushed out, because that is, again, where all the information lives. So families, when they get an email, it's coming through Skyward. Accurate?
That's correct. Yep.
Yay. See, this is educational for me. Y'all are amazing. I cannot thank you enough for doing so and sharing. I am going to make my attempt to share a little bit too. So question one is, can we actually see the website and the Family Resource Center? I hope so. Yes. So one thing that we've been trying to do is we all found ourselves in this world of COVID and suddenly not having a front office to go to, not being able to go to campus and get the supports or the questions answered. We tried to create an online version of a Family Resource Center for families this year. And this is a dynamic space where we can change things as needed to provide some resources and tools. So you'll see down here, there are 4 buckets: the social emotional learning, technology support. We knew initially, gosh, starting off the year, suddenly we're all working and doing school at home, that we needed to teach a bit remotely to our families and students how to use various tools. Community resources, who are some partners that we have researched and vetted, and then also just COVID-19 information and assistance. The world is changing quickly, and we wanted to be sure our families had continuous access to current information. So if you probe in here a little, and I can, yay, I think it will work. Cool. So with social emotional learning, I hope in the beginning of the year, when we talk through what that means and how important it is that we're not just teaching the content, the core coursework, but that we're addressing the social emotional learning needs of all of our students. There are a couple of videos here in English and Spanish to explain what that means and what that looks like at Yes Prep. There's also an elementary and a secondary differentiator here. So if your child is in elementary, you can learn more about the curriculum that's used there to help your kids feel welcome, connected, and safe in their virtual or in-person classroom space. And with secondary, we really focused this year on creating an advisory space in the fall so that kids did have a safe place to process. And so you will see here in both English and in Spanish the lessons that have been taught and some family-facing resources for what you might want to do at home together. Videos on YouTube, sorry for this funky thing, some suggestions on family activities for time management, motivation, apathy, decision making, and you can go back and see all of the lessons for mental health and wellness, Hispanic Heritage Month. There were some great activities there. And even though it is no longer October, I highly recommend you probe into those and some lessons and tools when it comes to managing our emotions. So all of that can be found here in the Family Resource Center under the social emotional learning. And this is like an accordion. Isn't that cool? So fascinating. If we go back in the technology support, similarly, we wanted to make sure that elementary families who use certain tools, and by the way, if you got an email from Clever last night, that was actually only supposed to go out to Southeast Elementary. And unfortunately, I do believe it went out to everyone. They're still working to resolve that. But elementary uses various tools in their classroom environment and Class Dojo, and then secondary has a variety of tools that we use. So within that, same thing, you've got an accordion that you can go through, and the wonderful human that you got to meet with Kamedra, she had created these resources in English and Spanish at the beginning to explain how to use Microsoft Teams. She's updated some of those for you and shared them out. Understanding what is the doggone map assessment, how does that work? Imagine Learning, Clever, Skyward. So the device agreements that were signed were initially there as well. So similar with secondary, the information around Skyward and how to access grades is logged there for you as well. So do know that, and there's always a help desk. Lord knows we all need a technology help button, and I use mine frequently. Community resources, this one we're currently revamping. All of these are vetted partners that we have worked with and continue to do amazing work with. What we are going to do is organize them instead of alphabetically, but organize them in terms of the buckets, like where could you go to get support when it comes to battered women, or to mental health resources, or food scarcity resources. So we're going to go back and, based on feedback from the Family Fellows, shout out to all of you guys, that will organize that so it's easier to understand where to go if you might need to access some of our amazing community resources and our partners. And then last but not least, I'm excited we're going to be adding to this. Earlier this week, the one and only Carmen Darville hosted a local doctor who gave a talk on vaccines and the real talk on what we know about vaccines and questions that people had, and we're providing that to families as well. So that will be posted in here. So you can see that same setup, right? This is how we've got the accordion. So you just click on it, it drops down, and you can see active links to look at health services, maps. So there's just a treasure trove of information, but we don't often take the time to teach people. It's like we gave you a car, but we didn't give you the keys. So we've got a lot of great things for you to dive into, and this is where it lives, on the Yes Prep Family Resource Center. Okay, so take some time, visit those locations there, and please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know if there's anything that's missing, or ideas for other partnerships or resources that we should be adding, or technology tools that you really don't fully understand, so that we can help unpack that for you. Please also note that you always have the translation option. Look for that. No matter what website you're on, you will frequently find the opportunity to translate into your preferred language. Any questions from my friends here as I attempt to share out the last slides? I hope I didn't end it. There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, it looks it's close. It's close. Let's see if I get it just right. Me changing screens here, y'all. This is like legit hard stuff for me. So look, you get to see the slides again because they're so cute. Look at our kids, our staff. So reminders as we are closing out this evening, this session is being recorded and will be made available. So it will be posted there in that same Family Resource Center, and a direct link will be shared out in the weekly Family Comms. The session's also going to be repeated next week in Spanish. I thought it's simply too much to try and translate. Technology is its own foreign language, in my opinion. Therefore, we will repeat in Spanish this session next Thursday. Tell your friends, and if it would be helpful for them. So we'll make sure it's available and host it in Spanish next week. And one final reminder is last night there was lots of messiness happening. There were emails going out, phishing emails is what they call them. And just please be super extra cautious. Don't click on any links, attachments, or zip files if you are not 100% certain of the email's authenticity, even if it may appear to be a familiar source. We're putting together, there's a training that all staff had to go through. And it's a fun little interactive course, and we're going to share it with our families too, so that you are armed with the knowledge and tools to ensure that you don't fall prey to these darn clever folks who are phishing and scamming us. And with that, I just simply want to thank you. Thank you not just for your time today, but thank you for entrusting us with the education of your children. We are so incredibly grateful to partner with you in this work and on this journey. Thanks so much for being here, and have a great night.